Trapper John, MD. Sponsored by Tide. Extra Action Tide handles lots of tough cleaning problems. The extra action in Tide means dirt can't hide.
Tuesday, what drove a man to risk his career in marriage? Why did a man volunteer to be murdered? How did a man's private dreams become a public humiliation? 10 years later, John Dean's story is even more shocking. Blind Ambition, a CBS special, Tuesday night at 8, 7 Central and Mountain. This is CBS.
Coming up next in the news, how a traffic accident in West Omaha became fatal early this afternoon. Why there is so much skepticism about today's so-called breakthrough in Lebanon. How state corrections officials plan to use prisoners to ease overcrowding. And in sports, a victory for the hitman. We'll have those stories. Stay tuned. Action News Tonight is next.
Now's the time. You've got 48 hours to save a lot of money at the spectacular Skaggs Drug Center Rubbermaid sale. This Monday and Tuesday only, we're selling all Rubbermaid products at half price. Handy items like wastebaskets, laundry baskets, storage bins, buckets, all Rubbermaid quality, all half price. The sale is on Monday and Tuesday only, so get them while supplies last. The 48-hour Rubbermaid sale at Skaggs Drug Centers, your complete drugstore and so much more.
Paramount files bankruptcy. Over $1 million of top-quality merchandise must go. We need cash. Save 40, 50 cents on the dollar and more. Paramount Furniture.
If you find your perfect match, you can win $5,000 in the Pepsi Challenge Matching Money Game. Match dollar amounts under Pepsi-Cola caps and win up to $5,000. Play with caps marked M and gold top cans of Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, Pepsi Light, and Mountain Dew.
Got a match?
Put your caps together and win up to $5,000 in the Pepsi Challenge Matching Money Game. You could find your perfect match.
Pepsi's got to taste what I...
See Britain's top comics, Benny Hill, at 10:30 tonight.
From Mid-America's leading news station, this is your update of the news with John McCaa, Rich Thiesfeld with sports, and Frank Bramhall with weather. This is Action News Tonight.
Good evening. A one-car accident in North Omaha this afternoon has claimed the lives of 2 young men. Omaha police say 20-year-old John J. Lenz of 9506 Grand Avenue lost control of his car while traveling east on 4th Street at a high rate of speed. His car struck a heavy metal power pole near 102nd and 4th, killing Lenz and his backseat passenger, 20-year-old Tony S. Grillo of 5311 North 97th Avenue. Another passenger, Daniel T. Vavauda, a 19-year-old of 5206 North 93rd Street, died hours later after surgery. Police investigators are blaming the high rate of speed for the crash. Today's accident raises Nebraska's traffic fatality count to 131. And that figure includes a 24-year-old Omaha man killed last night in Walnut Grove Park. Police say Byron Mitchell was riding a motorcycle near 155th and Q Streets when he lost control of his bike after hitting a curb in the park. The bike went down and Mitchell was apparently thrown into a tree. He died 2 hours later in a local hospital. Inmates at the Nebraska State Penitentiary are literally piling up on one another. State prison officials are worried about that and have devised a plan to help relieve some of the pressure. Mike McKnight reports.
Nebraska's prison system continues to bulge. Last week's population count of 1,568 inmates is the highest ever. Doubling up in cells built for one is increasing, though that's only a short range and certainly not preferred solution. State correctional officials say they have a couple of plans for easing the overcrowding problem. One of them lies here in the old reformatory. The old ref, as it's called, has been vacant since 1979, when younger, less risky inmates were moved to the new correctional center. While the buildings here are deteriorating, the security system remains strong, though a bit rusty in places. In their proposed budget soon to be submitted to the governor, correctional officials will ask for $1 million to reform the reformatory. They say in a short time the buildings can be torn down and replaced with dormitories to house at least 100 inmates.
And we would house non-violent kind of offenders there, have a work program of tearing down the old facility, cleaning the bricks, and putting up new buildings, using inmates to do all the work.
Benson also plans to ask lawmakers to change the parole statutes. He says 100 less inmates are on parole today than 2 years ago. Because parole is tied to the minimum sentence, about 30% of the current inmates aren't eligible. For example, if sentenced to 5 to 10 years, not until 5 years are up is an inmate eligible. Benson would like parole at least 1/3 of the maximum time given, or in this example, that's 1/3 of 10 years.
There's some people, check writers, breaking and entry, people that have no crime of violence that I think we could consider for parole.
In these times of tight budgeting and public sentiment to be tough on criminals, Benson's proposals may not fly. Yet he says Nebraskans should be aware many more inmates are coming in than going out. Mike McKnight, Action News Tonight, the State Bureau.
Union meat cutters in Sioux Falls, South Dakota have voiced their complete support for striking United Food and Commercial Workers Union members at the Iowa Beef Processors plant in Dakota City. UFCW Local 304A in Sioux Falls represents workers at the John Morrell packing plant. Morrell employs about 2,600 people. Sioux Falls local president Ben Anning says they are also having contract problems. Morrell workers had agreed to a 3-year wage freeze, but union officials say the company wants even more. Their contract expires in September. IBP workers refused a company-offered 4-year wage freeze. The company plans to continue production tomorrow using non-union workers hired from Sioux City, Sioux Falls, and other surrounding towns and cities. Violence broke out in Dakota City last week when union pickets attacked non-union workers attempting to enter the IBP plant. Law enforcement officials in Dakota City are very cautious about commenting on the possibility of violence again tomorrow. So far this weekend, the situation has been calmed. The PLO makes a historic move. We'll have that story next.
The ultimate hope for solving the energy problem is the creativity of the American mind. At Amoco, scientists are seeking ways to turn algae into gasoline for a form of energy that can be grown in abundant supply right here in America. It's one way Amoco's working to provide energy for America in the year 2000 and beyond.
Introducing your Ford dealer's inventory clearance. It's mandatory. Every Ford truck at every Ford dealer has to go. For example, the new size 83 Ford Ranger, built like the big ones, saves like the small ones. Also clearance prices on tough Ford pickups and fun-to-drive Broncos or Ford's club wagons and vans. You can even get a great deal on Ford's medium and heavy-duty models. See your Ford dealer now during his mandatory inventory clearance.
Run, don't walk, to the sensational July clearance sale at Nebraska Furniture Mart. The complete line of quality Hot Point refrigerators are all at incredible clearance prices. Space and energy-saving refrigerators that you can afford. Save big on Hot Point washers and dryers. Quality and performance at clearance prices. Keep your home cool and comfortable with a wide range of Hot Point room air conditioners. Prices have never been lower. Sensational July clearance prices are everywhere in the store. At the Money Saver, Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Now that Dodge Street is all torn up here in downtown Omaha, people are having a hard time getting to our First National Bank drive-in.
Can't get there from here.
So we've opened a temporary drive-in bank at 15th and Capitol. Use it to avoid the construction. Or you can keep on using our regular First National drive-in at 16th and Dodge, if you've got the gumption, old-timer.
Old-timer? I'm telling you just can't get there from here. Now, who are you anyway?
We're the bank Omaha calls first. Member FDIC.
Want to ride my mule?
In the Middle East tonight, the experts are still trying to figure out what happened when PLO Chief Yasser Arafat met with a group of U.S. congressmen this morning in Beirut. He reportedly signed a document which, first reports indicate, puts the PLO on record agreeing to UN resolutions recognizing Israel's right to exist something the guerrilla organization has refused to do in the past. One of the congressmen, Paul McCloskey of California, told reporters with a document signed he will return to the U.S. and request Secretary of State Schultz to begin direct negotiations immediately with the PLO. But later in the day, another of the congressmen, Elliot Levitas of Georgia, called it all a propaganda ploy, saying Arafat agreed only to recognize all resolutions dealing with the Palestinian question, not those involving Israel's existence. Reaction from Jerusalem was quick, with the Begin cabinet agreeing Arafat's action was propaganda, pointing out the PLO charter still calls for the virtual destruction of Israel and that others in the organization may repudiate Arafat's action. In Washington, meantime, President Reagan had no comment, but a State Department spokesman told reporters the copies they have seen of the document fall far short of U.S. demands of the PLO's recognition of Israel, that recognition be explicit and unequivocal. The spokesman went on to warn the efforts could bog down critical talks now underway in the Middle East to allow the PLO to withdraw peacefully from Lebanon. Around Beirut today, the Israelis continued pounding suspected Palestinian positions. It began in the morning and some observers believe was intended more for harassment than military advantage. Many of the bombs fell in areas already devastated or deserted. Frontline hospitals in West Beirut still operate, but today they received few casualties. In fact, the Palestinian Red Crescent's largest hospital, Gaza, was almost a victim itself this morning. And last night, the psychological pressure on the city increased when the Israelis seized control of the main power station. China is recovering from a first tonight, an airplane hijacking. The hijackers reportedly had a hand grenade and commandeered the passenger plane just before it landed in Shanghai. They wanted the pilot to fly to Taiwan. Passengers tell reporters the crew began scuffling with the 5 hijackers and the grenade exploded, killing or wounding all the air pirates and blowing a 3-square-foot hole in the plane. It landed safely, though, and none of the passengers were injured. In this country, a couple of the government's top economists were optimistic about the future in separate interviews today. On CBS's Face the Nation, Treasury Secretary Donald Regan predicted things will get better after some tough times. But that all depends on getting interest rates down, which he believes will happen in the long run. On ABC, Federal Reserve Board Chairman Paul Volcker agreed.
I think interest rates have been extraordinarily high. If we are successful in bringing down inflation, and I think the trend is clearly in that direction, interest rates are going to reflect that over a period of time.
The missing predictions today, how fast those rates will come down, how far they'll come down, and how strong a bounce back we can expect in the economy. It was a fine day to go to the park here in Omaha. We'll have that story and Frank's forecast after this.
Hi, this is Galen Brotherson from Bluff Cycle, and have we got a deal for you? We bought up the remaining 1980 and 1981 Kawasaki closeouts from our distributor and from several bankrupt dealers, and we're passing on the savings to you now.
Buy this beautiful KZ250 for only $11.99, or this KZ440 commuter for $12.99, only at Bluff Cycles.
We've got hundreds of deals. This KZ1000 fuel-injected beauty priced $300 below dealer cost. That's Bluff Cycle on 31st Street, 1 block south of Broadway, Council Bluffs.
When we play a rugby game, win or lose, we always go for a blue ribbon.
Hits the spot after those softball games.
You start surfing until the tide comes in, and then you go grab a cooler of Pabst.
When I'm playing ball, I'm not a lady out there. I'm a ball player. Pabst is the perfect way to end the day after sailing.
You know, I know each hole that I win is going to be one more Pabst for me when I get in the clubhouse.
After the racquetball, we'll go home, take off our shoes, and pop a top on a Pabst.
Anytime you want to roll out a keg of Pabst, we'll have a practice.
Action News in the Morning brings you more than the who, what, when, and where of news and weather. You'll also find out whom to see.
Sylvester Stallone may only know how to tell one story, but he sure tells it well.
What to do about hugging.
Health experts say we need a minimum of 5 hugs to survive.
When to plant.
2 good words for this weekend: plant tomatoes.
And where to measure.
I keep a measuring cup in the canister.
Watch these unique features and more on Action News in the Morning, weekdays at 8 on Channel 6.
Tim O'Neill Chevrolet, home of the truck.
You can depend on the experienced professionals at Tim O'Neill Chevrolet, the home of the truck in Council Bluffs. Professionals like service manager Hank Bassett, whose 35 years of service experience means you'll get the job done right.
Tim O'Neill Chevrolet, home of the truck.
Visit the experienced professionals now. Tim O'Neill Chevrolet, Lake Manawa exit, Council Bluffs.
Residents of the Deer Park neighborhood in southeastern Omaha enjoyed a lazy day in the shade, celebrating the opening of Deer Park Hollow today. The Deer Park Neighborhood Association worked with the City Parks Department to revitalize leftover city parkland to create the hollow. The spot had grown over and sat idle from the time Interstate 80 was built, cutting the old Riverview Park in half. Neighbors had always wanted to clean up the area, but it wasn't until almost a year ago they really got things going.
After we had talked to the mayor and he agreed that this park should be revitalized, we decided to help, and we had people together, and a lot of the children here today helped us pick up all the litter and come down these hills and clean up tons of waste material and junk, and we piled them up. Then the city came along and removed it, and that's when things began to happen.
Now that Deer Park Hollow is once again an active city park, Janik and the neighbors hope to make their celebration an annual event. All kinds of fun down at Deer Park today. And if you missed the great weather today, you say there is something we can look forward to in the days ahead, huh?
Something for everybody, actually. Whatever you seem to like as far as summer weather goes, we'll probably be getting it. Let's have a look at our satellite shot here. First of all, it really hasn't changed a whole lot from last night, but I guarantee you it has, or this is the new one from just about an hour ago. There's the weather system out here. They've been having a lot of rain around the Casper, Wyoming area today. It still shows it being pretty heavy in that area, but it is weakening, and it is moving in this direction ever so slowly. There is a frontal system that did not get as far today as we thought it would. Let's go have a look at the map. We thought it would be just, well, close to us, maybe just to the north of us, maybe right on top of us, but it's sort of backed up again, and it's one of those semi-stationary front that just is sort of hanging around. But it looks as though this high-pressure center now over Ohio is going to start dropping southward, allowing this to move a little bit, and it will probably get through, well, sometime late tomorrow. It's still a very slow mover and will be. There could very well be some thunder shower activity associated with it. You can see there's some scattered, that's all scattered stuff, showers and thunderstorms clear on around down into the Southland. That's the heaviest down there. But let's have a look here now. Let me get the magic button. Look at our forecast map for this time tomorrow night, or make it 6 o'clock tomorrow night. The frontal system will still be just to the north of us, and you can see that there will be thunderstorms, showers also in those areas where it's showing thunderstorms. It won't all be thunderstorms, and it won't be solid stormy weather, but should occur within those areas. As you see, the high-pressure center has begun to settle, and actually that front will probably just sort of wipe out eventually and not bother us any. Right now in the area, it's 82 at Fremont, 78 down in Lincoln, clearing to reporting 78. There's a thunder shower and 75 out at Scotts Bluff. Perhaps you saw on the satellite map there where the clouds had moved into the panhandle. Right now in our area, it's clear. We have 78 at Offutt and Epley and 79 in northwest Omaha. They all figure out to be 26 degrees Celsius. We have 67% relative humidity, a southeast wind at 6, the barometer rising. For Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Lincoln, it'll probably be foggy by sunrise with southeast breezes 4 to 8, low of 71 in Omaha overnight, 70 in Lincoln. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and hot with a chance of showers late in the day, high of 91 in Omaha, 93 in Lincoln. Then tomorrow night, partly cloudy to cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms as that frontal system gets very close to us and perhaps passes us. Northwest breezes, low of 68 in Omaha, 70 in Lincoln. Tuesday, partly cloudy and cooler with showers ending, high of 88 and down to 68, or that is 68, yes, should be the low for Tuesday. Partly cloudy and cool on Wednesday with a high of 84. That'll feel okay for lots of people. Thursday, sunny and warmer, 89. And our high today officially was 91 degrees, John, at northwest Omaha. Got to 91 also at Epley and 93 in Lincoln.
Warm day today. Thanks a lot, Frank. Today, some youngsters on a farm just outside Omaha got a chance to see what their great-grandparents did back in the early 1900s. Not only what they did, but what they did it with. Sally Myers explains in this report.
It is a tradition which has stepped aside for modern machinery, one which symbolizes hard work, sweat, and best of all, nostalgia. The process is called threshing. During the turn of the century, it was the sole way farmers separated grain from straw. Although this process has since been replaced by the combine, this group of men and women are reliving the past of their ancestors. Once a year for the past 7 now, they've gathered on this farm near Bennington for what they call a threshing bee.
I think it's wonderful that these guys are preserving the nostalgia for the younger generation. And whenever we see the younger kids getting involved, it just tickles us to death when we see some teenager out there trying to start a tractor, driving them around. I think that's just the most wonderful thing because they're the ones that are going to carry it on. If they don't take an interest in it, all this stuff will go back in the junk heap where it comes from.
Today, the grain being threshed is oats. It's an event which attracted farmers, city folk, and small children.
It's a good chance for people to get together and forget inflation, high interest, just have a good time.
But the good time, according to Dury, as well as the good turnout, is tightly intertwined with nostalgia.
It's all volunteers, and they must have done it once before. They wouldn't have come to do it today. And like everybody was a little boy once, and they like to be a little boy again today.
By the end of today, 4 acres of oats had been threshed. The oats will be used to feed chickens on this farm, and as Gaylord Dury puts it, tomorrow we'll all go back to reality. Sally Myers, Action News Tonight.
The Nebraska track squad now has some high hopes for a new high-jumping recruit. Rich Thiesfeld will explain in 2 minutes.
Now's the time. You've got 48 hours to save a lot of money at the spectacular Skaggs Drug Center Rubbermaid sale. This Monday and Tuesday only, we're selling all Rubbermaid products at half price. Handy items like wastebaskets, laundry baskets, storage bins, buckets, all Rubbermaid quality, all half price. The sale is on Monday and Tuesday only, so get them while supplies last. The 48-hour Rubbermaid sale at Skaggs Drug Centers, your complete drugstore and so much more.
Petroleum comes from plants and animals, subjected to pressure and heat over millions of years. Amoco scientists are experimentally duplicating nature's work in just minutes. They have produced oil directly from plant life, wood chips, even grass clippings. It's a technology Amoco is exploring to provide energy for America in the year 2000 and beyond.
Who won?
Don't ask.
What are you eating?
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds? Do you know about Sunlight cooking oil?
No. Yes.
Sunlight's made from 100% sunflower seed oil.
So?
So it's lower in saturated fats than all the leading oils, with no cholesterol.
And it tastes great.
Well, that I know.
Sunlight. All natural from the seed of the sunflower.
Do you have a car truck, like these for instance, in good condition? We'll pay you up to 100% of what you paid for it when you buy a new specially marked car or truck at McMullen Ford during our grand opening week.
Bring your proof of ownership on any make, car, truck with average yearly mileage and we'll deal.
We've made special arrangements with our banker for 11.9% APR financing during our grand opening week.
Don't expect hot dogs and balloons, just figure on getting the best deal anywhere at McMullen Ford, Council Bluffs.
That big track meet out at UNO ended today, huh?
Hopefully Omaha could get it back because it was a success, nationally recognized. So maybe we'll have it back in the future. The 3-day nationally recognized Athletics Congress age group track meet wrapped up at UNO today with some outstanding performances. A nice crowd on hand, and many of them were there to catch a glimpse of Nebraska track recruit Vernon Massey, a state high jump champion out of Colorado. And Massey did live up to his reputation, dominating the young men's division. Here he easily clears 6 feet 10 inches to win the event. Now up to this point, he still hadn't missed a jump. Then the officials very carefully measured the bar at 7 feet even and let Vernon have a crack at it. And once again, he was over the bar on his first try. He hadn't missed all the way up to 7 feet. Next up, 3 trips at 7 feet 2 inches. But unfortunately, 3 misses. Still, 7 feet in the high jump isn't anything to sneeze at. Nebraska will have Vernon Massey around for the next 4 years. And by the way, another fine performance turned in today by Kenny Wilson, one of the runners we featured from Brooklyn last night. He turned in a 1-minute 53.65 second clocking in the young men's 800 to win another event at the TAC track meet. The Omaha Royals went back on the road tonight, opening up an 8-game trip against Indianapolis. And bad news for Royals fans, the Indians took the opener of the series 6-5. Indianapolis over Omaha 6-5. In the majors this afternoon at Kansas City, bottom of the 3rd inning, UL Washington with his 2nd home run of the year, a 2-run shot. The Royals go on to beat Milwaukee 6-4. Argument of the day from Yankee Stadium. Top of the 1st, no score. Angels with the bases loaded. Freddie Lynn drills one to the right field corner. Reggie Jackson and Don Baylor score. Now Bobby Grich, who was on first, tries to score, and watch closely now. It looks to me as if Grich slide beat the throw and the tag of Yankee catcher Rick Cerrone, but the umpire Billy McKee didn't think so, or Jimmy McKee rather. He tossed Grich out of the ball game, and watch what Grich does. He just goes wild. This is about the 3rd time in the past week we've seen a player do this. It's getting scary. Grich, the call was questionable. He looked to me like he was safe, but still no reason for that kind of action. Gene Monk got in a few words with the umpire, and California went on to win. Let's look at the scores now. Omaha loses in the American Association 6-5. In the Bigs, Boston over Minnesota 5-zip. The White Sox beat Toronto 5-3. And as you saw, California over the Yankees. Cleveland beat Seattle also 5-3. It was Baltimore over the A's 6-2. Kansas City topped Milwaukee, and Detroit swept 2 from Texas 7-2 in the first game, 7-6 in the nightcap. Pittsburgh shut out Atlanta again, 8-0 behind John Candelaria. Houston lost to St. Louis 4-3. Cincinnati shaded the Cubs 2-1. Steve Carlton outdueled Jerry Royce for his 50th career shutout, 1-zip. The Phillies over the Dodgers. San Diego edged the Mets in 10, and it was San Francisco over the Expos 3-2. Locally, a 15-player state Big League Baseball All-Star team will carry the hopes of Nebraska into a 5-state regional tournament in Milwaukee beginning Thursday. The Big League is for players 16 to 18 years old, and the squad held its final workout today. They'll leave for Wisconsin Tuesday night. The team has only been together for a little more than a week, but Coach Harry Thomas says that's enough time to build a squad.
These boys have had so much experience over the years that we just have to actually fine-tune them, so to speak. They've had the practice, and they should know what they're doing by this time. We just fine-tune with the All-Stars, actually.
The competition at Milwaukee will be double elimination. 3 wins would move the Nebraska squad another step down the tournament trail to an event in Michigan. Down Green Bay. This is baseball, guys. Detroit native Thomas Hearns, the Motor City Cobra, uncoiled for the first time before the hometown folks in a year and a half today. The result was a familiar one, a knockout for the Hitman. Since his welterweight war with Sugar Ray Leonard 10 months ago, Hearns has moved up to the middleweight ranks. And this afternoon, he made Jeff McCracken his 3rd victim along the trail he hopes will lead to a title shot. Hearns was the aggressor throughout and floored McCracken twice in the 2nd round before ending it in the 8th.
Hearns sensing it, banging to the body. The referee watching it saying that's it, he can do no more. Couldn't get the hands up, and it's a knockout victory in the 8th round for Thomas Hearns.
The win raised Hearns' record to 35-1 with 32 knockouts, while McCracken suffered his first loss after 16 straight victories. The hottest golfer on the Pro Tour right now is Calvin Peete. The veteran notched his 2nd victory in 3 weeks today with a 2-shot win at the rain-shortened event in Williamsburg, Virginia. Peete fired a final round 2 under par 69 to finish with a 54-hole total of 10 under 203. Bruce Litsky 2nd at 205. And an upset winner at the Women's U.S. Open, Janet Alex made it look easy today. She carded the tournament's best round, a 4 under par 68, to cruise to a 6-shot victory, her first ever on the Pro Tour. Her 2 main challengers, Joanne Carner and Beth Daniel, limped home with a 75 and a 76, respectively, to finish in a 4-way tie for 2nd with Donna White and Sandra Haney. And John, in tennis today, Jimmy Connors over Bjorn Borg in 5 sets. Big match there.
Okay, and I understand the Kenyan runners who we featured last night who wanted to stay from Brooklyn are going to be able to stay because enough people called in and pledged money for their stay here.
Indeed.
So thanks a lot. Frank Bramhall will be back with the final forecast, so stay with us.
When you compare AAA's auto insurance rates against any other, you'll find special rates that you may qualify for, like low mileage discounts to pay less if you drive less, good student discounts, a smart insurance buy, multiple car discounts to benefit whole motoring families, even farm use discounts for rural needs. Let us explain how safe driving can pay too. If you compare, you'll find out why, at home or away, it's so nice to know we're near.
At $57.95, the Mazda B2000 Sundowner is the lowest priced truck in America. Yet it comes with standard features Datsun and Toyota don't even offer on their economy trucks, like a 5-speed, steel-belted radials, 3-passenger seating, tinted glass, full carpeting, and sakes alive, Mazda B2000 Sundowner even gets better gas mileage.
Only Mazda's got a truck for just $57.95.
When people ask me why I'm such a great bass dealer, I tell them, concentrate on one thing, and you could become the best. Just like Kentucky Fried Chicken, all they do is chicken. Cooked the Colonel's own special way that seals in all that great flavor. Fact is, this bass dealer just loves going for home, so I can get to my favorite flavor.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it right. Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
The best Nebraska high school football players of 1981 are now getting ready to play in that classic 24th annual Nebraska Shrine Bowl in Lincoln's Memorial Stadium Saturday afternoon, August 7. It's a great event for an even greater cause. Tickets available at Memorial Stadium. Kickoff on August 7 at 1:30. Start the new football season by attending the Nebraska Shrine Bowl on August 7. Watch strong legs run so that weak legs may walk.
Our breakfast car shows will have probably partly cloudy skies and foggy ground come 7 a.m. with 71 degrees. We had a low of 70 this morning, high of 91 this afternoon with no rain. And tonight should get down to 71 and 91 again tomorrow with sunrise and sunset as you see it. John?
Okay, thanks a lot, Frank. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next weekend.
You're going to need me someday. I don't know when, and you don't know when, but you're going to need me. When a bathroom, kitchen, or laundry drain gets clogged and stops draining, then you're going to need me. Fast. You'll be all upset. You won't remember my name. Okay, forget my name. Just look for Roto-Rooter Sewer and Drain Service. Got it?
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away goes trouble down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
I was known as one of the meanest players in hockey, but I didn't deserve that, right? I'm just a nice guy who comes in and has a few light beers from Miller with the boys. A pussycat who drinks light because it's less filling, and it tastes great. Really, if I was a nasty player, may a lightning bolt come down and strike this very spot.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I'm Heloise. If you're looking for ways to make your life a whole lot easier, join me every day here on Hints from Heloise.
Heloise is part of Action News in the Morning, weekdays at 8. Watch the CBS Morning News now weekday mornings at 6.